Thank you very much. Hello, hello, hello. My name is Luando Dame. Yet again, we are here. F.T.C. Flip the Coin Conversations. We are doing self-image again today. We decided to do a part two of our self-image conversation. We did it. We did our part one with you, where we're dissecting what is it that we mean when we say self-image. We thought it is necessary that we emphasize on this. We must emphasize on this because I personally feel and think that it is the most important thing for us to understand. What we have got two selves. We have the outer self and the inner self. The outer self is the physical self that you can see with your these two little peoples you call eyes. That's what Bob Proto refers to them as. So we see ourselves through these eyes, but this is not our real self. The real self is the divine self, the inner self. We are going to be talking about that self. In fact, even the first episode about self-image was about that. Part one was exactly about that. We will never be referring to the outer self because the outer self is the lower self. It's not the important self. This is the self that has got fears, that's got doubts, that's got other people, definition of beauty. Because the beauty of the outer self is determined by fashion, according to the magazines, fashion according to beauty, according to the social media, beauty according to the media in general. But the inner self is the beauty according to God. Is the beauty according to you. It's the self-image of yourself. The concept of yourself. It's not something that is determined by the outer world. When you are defined by the outer world, you become weak and you become vulnerable to the outer world because the outer world can really determine the direction of your life by just telling you who you are based on what they see on the outer, self, which is your outer presentation of you. But the very same thing that is, I think, important to understand as well, that is that the outer self depends on the inner self. How you present yourself outwardly is entirely based on how you see yourself internally. If you view yourself inwardly as a weaker person, as the lesser intelligent person, as a lesser beautiful person than others, you will present yourself as such. So it is very important to understand, for us to understand that the inner self is the first cause. The inner self is the cause of what we are presenting to the outer to the outer world. We are presenting ourselves based on what we think and feel that we are, what we have accepted of ourselves. So, self-image really is a knowledge of self. You have to know yourself, and it takes time to know yourself. It takes one decision. You decide that I want to know myself. I want to know more about me, because the reality is we know more about everything else and less about ourselves. You'll never have self-image. You'll never have self-confidence. You'll never have self-esteem if you don't know self. So it's very important for us to go back to who we are, and really try and make an effort to understand who am I, Ningubani, what makes me the person that I am. What are those things that are inward, that are in me, that I can tap onto so that I can present a different or a better, or become a better self or a better version of me. So knowledge of self is very important for self-image, for self-confidence, for self-esteem, which is why we want to emphasize on it. There are books, we will always refer to books. There are books written on this. I think all of the books that I've read, starting from Power of Awareness, Think and Grow Rich, Psycho-Cybernetics, As a Man Thinketh, there's another one that came across today, I think It's also a profound book, very, very relevant to what we are talking about. It, what is this book called? I came across it, but it's talking about self-discovery, because this whole thing is about self-discovery. Once you discover yourself, something happens. Something happens, and I mentioned on our last episode, on our first part of this conversation, that we do not have a poverty problem. We have a self-image problem. We do not have a drinking problem. We do not have drug problems. We do not have crime problem. We have a self-image problem. People act the way they act and they live the way they live based on what they think they are, based on the concept they hold of themselves. That's how powerful this self-image thing is. People present themselves in interviews based on this concept of self they hold. If you go into an interview with a low self-esteem, it's because of the concept of self that you hold of yourself. If you have a higher concept of self, you'll have a higher level of confidence. If you have a lower, and vice versa. I think it's something that we really need to elaborate and have a conversation on. All those people who were not very smart when it comes to academics, who were not academically smart, but they are very successful. It's because as they struggled during the academic years or the academic process, they were confident outside of that system, confident about themselves and how they presented themselves to people and how they presented themselves and their ideas. So you'll find that these people were not so very smart academically. They were not A's, they were not B's, they were not even C's. Some of them were D's. If you want to gauge them according to their academic performance during that process, that academic process. But you'll find that these people have got a lot of confidence outside of that system and have made big moves, and you will struggle to understand how did they make it. I think I'm also one of those people. I was never my best was top 5. That was my best. I was never number 1 or number 2. Not ever, but as I started this process of self-discovery, I became better in other things. I became better at self-educating myself into becoming, what I've become and what I'm continuing to become. And I've come to understand that education is an ongoing process. It's something that you have to commit to learning until you get it right. When you get it wrong, it's the first step towards getting it right. You just need to get it wrong again. But when you get it wrong again, you are better than the first time. So it's a process of learning and understanding that you will never ever get anything right the first time. If you do, you do. But just tell yourself that even everything that I know, I did not get it right the first time. Everything that I'm doing, I did not get it right the first time. It's a process of a human being to first crawl, then walk, then run. It doesn't mean I'm dumb if I don't understand it now. But it just means that I am just tested. It's a test of character. Will I go back and do it again? If I don't, then I failed because I quit. It's not because I was dumb. It's just because I did not have the persistence that was needed to pull it through. So it doesn't mean you are dumb if you don't understand it now. You just need to commit to doing it over and over and over again until you do it right. The people that we praise, the people that we look up to, did not give up. They persisted. There's a movie called The Founder. It's about the story of this guy who gave us McDonald's, Ray Kroc. Ray Kroc attributes it to persistence. He doesn't say I'm the smartest guy in the world. He says it's persistence. I didn't give up. I failed a lot of times. Who's this other guy? Colonel Saunders of KFC. He persisted. He's not the smartest guy in the world. He persisted. Now we look up to Colonel Saunders. Colonel Saunders has given his family a legacy of generational wealth. There's no generation of Colonel Saunders that will ever, for as long as we continue to eat KFC as a people. It's only when we decide to eat healthier that KFC will be threatened. For now, KFC is good. KFC is gonna continue to feed the generations of a guy who did not give up, who persisted, the guy who never gave up on himself, who never said, I'm too old, I'm too dumb, I am too weak, I'm lesser educated than others. Because all of these people who gave us these phenomenal businesses, they did not give these businesses to us because they were most educated. They were not the most educated people. They were only the most committed, the most persistent, the most dedicated people in the world, the most confident, because they were confident in who they are. They understood that there's something in them that would carry them through the challenges of this world. There's something in them that gave them the desire, and they understood that within the desire there's a proof of achievement. So they were entitled to whatever they saw through their inner eye, which is what we can also emulate. We can also tell ourselves ukuthi nathi sizelwe na something, sidalwe na something, and this something is instilled in us. It's something that we can tap onto. It's something that we can also use to pursue our own vision. So when you believe in yourself because you have adopted a better concept of self, you will start having a better vision of what your future looks like. Which is why it's very important for us to engage, and talk about this self-image thing. There's a self-image that I have as a person, but we also must talk about the self-image of the nation. What do we have? What do we hold as our self-image as a nation? Because every time I listen to us talking about us, we have nothing good to say about us. I always say no to people who say black people are like this, comparing us to other nations as if other nations are better than us. We are just inherently lazy, we are inherently corrupt, we are inherently, not honest people. We are thieves. We are all of these things. It is us saying these things about us. We are saying these things about us, and we wonder why we have so much crime. We wonder why we have so much people in jail. We wonder why we have been overlooked. We've been looked down upon because we look down on ourselves. We do not have a healthy self-image. We do not have a positive self-image. We have nothing positive to say about us. So we really do not need other people saying anything negative about us because we do it ourselves. We are just on a mission of self-destruction. We have a bad inner talk. We self-talk about us. So there is nothing that would come. There's nothing good that would come out of people who are looking down on themselves. Nothing good. What we see is as a result of our self-image. We've accepted that we are okay to be living in squatter camps. We are okay to be living in communities with potholes, with sewerage problems, with constant unhealthy environment. We are okay with that. Why? Because it comes from our inner self-image, how we see ourselves, Otherwise, if we did not accept it, if we did not accept that we are these people that we say we are, we would say, be living a totally different life, which is what we are advocating for as Flip the Coin. Let us change our self-image. Let us see ourselves better than where we are, because our circumstance is not supposed to determine our future. Our circumstance, it is what it is because we are what we are in our consciousness. Once we change our consciousness, we'll start walking towards a better we, a better us. Because when we say self-image, we are talking about us as a unit. We can be one person with a better self-image, because if I can change my own life, that means we can change our lives as a collective. Flip the Coin is about us becoming one. We need to become one. We need to say, it's not about me making it, it's about all of us making it. Making it out of the situation. We don't have to change locations. We can change our current locations to be better, so that we can start attracting better to ourselves. Because this thing is not only about what happens to us, it's also about what we attract to ourselves. As we become better in our self-projection, we'll attract better. We'll attract better people and better things to us. So self-image is very important as a first cause. It's our first cause, then everything else will be reflective of how we see ourselves. So if we see ourselves as better people, we'll attract better and we'll start doing better. And we will be definitely better as a people. So Flip the Coin, it starts with you. Please subscribe, check our website out, and also, which is very important, come to our Flip the Coin office in Philippi Village. We've got a lot of projects that we want to bring to you. On our Wednesday segment of Business Wednesday, we'll be talking more about the projects that we are engaged in as Flip the Coin, which are big projects, because we have a positive self-image. We do big things at Flip the Coin. Right now we are engaged in a property stock fair, which is national already. It's in Cape Town, it's in the Eastern Cape, it's in Durban, it's in some parts of Joburg. We're still starting out in other provinces. We're having these conversations with the people over there, because what we want to achieve is one community of leaders, one community of leaders who are coming from the rural and the townships, segments of the population. Once we achieve that, we will not have a Kailicha in Cape Town and a Kukuletu and a Langa. We'll have one township that is doing the same thing, working and working towards the same vision, under this concept of Flip the Coin, because Flip the Coin is shifting paradigms. That's what we want to achieve. A changed mind is a powerful mind. So we need to change the way we see ourselves, which is the self-image, and we will start having confidence in us as individuals and in each other, because that's what we need. We need to have confidence in each other. I have to have confidence in you, Lobster. You have to have confidence in me, so that when we collaborate knowing that you've got my back, I've got your back. We can do this. If there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. I think all of us, we know that proverb. So if we take all of those philosophies and act on them and act according to them, because philosophy without action is useless. We just need to take the philosophy and put it into action and start working, working into bringing something different in our societies, in our communities, and in our country, in our continent. Because it starts with the community and it goes all the way into the continent. It starts with you as an individual, and it will spill over to your family, your community, your country, and eventually your continent, eventually the world. Because there is no world, there is no continent without the world. There is no country without the continent. So All of these things are meant to expand our view and our identity, our self-image. Let's expand everything so that we can have a bigger and better selves. So click the like button, subscribe, go check our website. Also go to our Facebook page, engage with us, talk to us. We want to talk to you. So we also want to work with you, because this is not just about talking. We also want to work. We are seen in property. We are seen in right now. We are also engaging in the digital world. We are making partnerships. We are starting another partnership with All Mutual, in the property space. So we want to engage in those partnerships as equal partners, because our self-image is telling us that we can be partners instead of employees. That is our self-image at Flip the Coin. We don't want to be millionaires, we want to make millionaires. That is our self-image, because we believe that each and every person has got a right to wealth. Has got a right to wealth and has got the capacity and the capabilities to achieve that wealth. So thank you very much for joining us. Please do join us again when we do our Wednesday, Business Wednesday segment, where we'll be talking about business, nothing else but business, all of the opportunities that we'll be presenting to you at Flip the Coin, Cape Town and outside of Cape Town. As we grow with us. It starts with you. Thank you very much.